allow sharing that Sanela can present her presentation. Sanela, could you take control over the presentation and okay, thank you. Yes, we can see your presentation, and you can show the full screen presentation if you would like.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, good evening. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sanela Mužar, Horvat. I am a primary school teacher in Hinkajuna Podgorač, a small village near Našice. In this session, I'm going to present the plan of ongoing action research project. The aim of the action research is to achieve essential changes in teaching of mathematics in the second and third grade of primary school based on the characteristic of quality mathematics teaching. At the beginning, knowing the previous teaching of mathematics and my students' dissatisfaction with the way of realization of teaching context in mathematics, my wish was to introduce effective teaching methods and determine students' satisfaction with such teaching and their progress in learning mathematics. What has been missing in my previous teaching of mathematics are independence of students' learning, greater activity on student in teaching process, cooperation among students. This action research seeks to improve mathematics teaching and students' achievement using the results of systematic review of relevant and recent research. And based on the established characteristic of quality mathematics teaching in a systematic review of the literature, I will conduct action research. The problem of my action research is in a form of an action research question, how to achieve changes in mathematics teaching based on established feature of quality mathematics teaching in a systematic review of the literature. And in this action research, I will try to answer the following research questions that are next. These research questions are how to achieve changes in mathematics teaching based on the features of effective mathematics teaching obtained in systematic review of the literature, how to achieve the appropriate quality of students' learning in mathematics teaching, and how to achieve teaching satisfaction and students' motivation in teaching mathematics. As a result of the research, changes are expected in the attitudes of knowledge of me as a primary school teacher conducting this research. Therefore, the following question is also envisaged. What changes are happening in the knowledge and attitudes of the teacher while implementing the changes? Well, I would like to say something about myself. I'm a primary school teacher at the Hinkajuna Elementary School in Podgorač near Našice. I will conduct my action research in a rural area where this school is located in a second and third grade department. Based on the established characteristic of quality mathematics teaching and a systematic review of the literature, I will conduct this research, I am saying. I will systematically monitor the changes that I will try to achieve teaching during the education period in 2021 and 2022 school year. And I will try to understand and interpret the process occurring students in the classroom and within myself. This picture, this is my school, Budimci Regional School. I use the action plan guidelines according to McNeef and Whitehead 2010, which is expressed in the form of the following question. The first question is, what is the subject of my interest? Knowing the previous teaching of mathematics and my students' dissatisfaction with the way of realization of teaching context in mathematics, my wish was to introduce effective teaching methods and changes in teaching to determine students' satisfaction with that teaching. The next question is why I am interested. At the beginning of the research, it is necessary to determine the values which I will base the changes in teaching on, and these are students' responsibility for their own success, independence in learning, active participation in the teaching process, cooperation among students, and progress in mathematics. According to Taylor, math is an abstract science of numbers, quantity, and space, and I personally find that math students don't have that much fun, and it is not interesting to them. Mathematics may seem abstract, but it's often applicable in everyday life. Mathematics is focused on development of a logical and mathematical thinking, has significant role in personality formation, and creates a competent individual who applies mathematical knowledge in everyday. The next question, and I would like to say I analyzed the recording of hours of my previously held mathematics instruction using the Corpus protocol, and this is the analysis of students and teacher activity on the initial teaching video, as you can see. The analysis of Corpus protocol determined that students are in the large percentage guided by teacher. Through teaching, the teacher's movement around the class and the teaching method prevail in classes, and students mostly listen to the teacher, and there is a lack of students asking questions, discussions, and expressing opinions. In addition, their independence, active learning, cooperation among students, and this progress in teaching are less represented. The tasks that students solve in math classes are standard, numerical, or arithmetic, and like problem solving in my class. How can I present the situation I'm currently in? Well, I will begin the research with an evaluative assessment of the current state of students' achievement in mathematics and analysis of student activity in the initial video. What do I think I can do? I will study the literature related to the problem of action research. I will collaborate with other participants in the action research, teachers and critical friends. And what will I do? I will come to the concrete examples that I intend to introduce teaching by determining the characteristic of quality mathematics. How will I gather evidence which my influence on the situation be visible from? I will systematically monitor changes teaching, video-based recording and teaching, and I will monitor changes using a Corpus protocol. In addition to the teaching monitoring protocol during the research, I will use the following data collection procedures. Research diary, I will teaching video, I will do teaching videos, I will interviewing, and use evaluation sheets for the purpose of the assessment, judgment. And the next question, how will I ensure that my judgments are acceptable and true? According to McNeef and Whitehead, emphasize that importance on validation action research, determining whether the claims we introduced and presented in the report are true, understandable, and related to the values we want to achieve. And the social validation of action research will be carried out by critical friends, and I will also do academic validation by my mentor and my colleagues. After that, in my action plan, I set goals and criteria. My goals are encouraging students to be independent in their learning, developing students' progress in mathematics, encouraging and developing cooperation among students, enabling and encouraging students to active participation. And criteria. Students actively participate in math classes. Students show greater independence in adaptation. And students collaborate in joint activities in teaching mathematics. Students show their satisfaction by participating in math class activity. Students show progress in teaching mathematics, and they are responsible for their own success in teaching mathematics. The activities of the characteristic of quality mathematics teaching determined in the systematic review of the literature. I will use these activities in my teaching, and they are assessment of students' prior knowledge by summative evaluation, creating smart math portfolios. I will use single per math model method and use of concrete material, teaching by guiding discovery, independent learning by discovery, solving problem texts in a group of pairs. Reverse learning, problem solving before class. I will use a computer programs in teaching mathematics, giving feedback to students on their success in learning mathematics using the digital application like Flickrs. STAD method, think, pair, share is a strategy of discussion, short quizzes and learning in groups. And this is at the end presentation of the beginning of the action research of the elementary Kinka Podgorac Budimci district school. We started the math class which according to Bognar is the first stage which the educational process begin with. And the student share their thoughts on what they like and at the previous classes. And we repeated the teaching contents in mathematics. And on this picture, we can see my two students solving the text from the textbook, my lucky number, and check manipulating the concrete material. And on this picture is one girl who she wants to use concrete material because she just she don't want to. She just want to do her text workbook and on this way. In addition to the interesting puzzle game, the quality we introduced into the classroom are the students' math portfolios. And we can see that on this picture. They are preparing and compiling mathematics portfolios. And this is, my students are solving problem tasks. They are using the per math method. And we, at the end, we applied, as like I said, a single per problem solving method that improves students' progress. And we teach the whole class together, and students are expected to learn the concept in detail before continuing with the material. And what I could notice was that the third graders accepted that apply state method in their assignments. Moreover, they moved very quickly from concrete material to abstract. And this is the end. Your question and suggestion regarding teaching and research method in my action research. Thank you very much.
Sanela, you started with your implementation of your action research plan, and you also had several lessons with your students.
Yes, I did.
Could you tell us your first impressions and reflections about those initial activities in your action research?
Well, I could say that my students are happy to do this, and they want to participate in this, and they are thrilled to. So they are thrilled to use some new mathematic methods, and they are happy with this.
In which way you changed your practice when you compare with initial videos?
Well, I teach in a traditional way before, and now I use some new effective methods in my teaching, and I use camera and lots of application in computer and so on.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
May I ask, do some methods help the students who are not so strong more than the other methods that you use, your change in teaching, such as the Singapore method? Does that help all of the students, the stronger ones, the weaker ones?
Well, we are at the beginning of this action research, so we'll see what is going to happen at the end.
Right. Right. It may be that you change what you are doing with some students, but not with all of the students. Is that possible?
Well, it isn't possible. Yes, I agree.
You don't have too many students, actually. You
Yes,
have
I
just,
have six of
students.
them. Yes, 6 students, 3 in the second grade and 3 students in the third grade.
This is small
Yes,
classroom.
yes.
Small class.
Any questions or suggestion? Yes.
I've been around a long time, so I've seen a lot of methods come and go. I wondered what you learnt in general from employing these different methods, as opposed to the specifics of a Singapore method, which will go in a few years and something else will come. What have you got overall from your experience, would you say?
Well, I'm happy because my students are happy and their learning is much more than before. And as I was saying, we are at the beginning, so I don't have many examples, but I will see in the future how it's going to be.
You'll approach it all with more optimism, more confidence, etc.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry, how are the students reacting to the camera in the classroom?
They're not scared. They're they're happy and they wanted to do this. Yes.
And I have another question. You said that at the beginning of your action research, you had an agreement with the students. And what did you agree on or agree to?
Well, they don't want to do anymore their workbook and their other part of their way like they do before. So we decided to do some effective teaching methods. They want to have fun in mathematics and you'll see.
But also, actually, you agree with them at the beginning of each class. Not only at the beginning of action research. You informed your students at the beginning action research, but also you agree and talk with them and make agreement about aims of each class, if I understand well.
Yes. Yes.
Have the students been able to give you any good suggestions for improvement?
3 of them. 3 of them. Yes, just the 3 of them.
How they will give you suggestions?
Well, they say what they don't like, and they want something else in our classroom. They don't want to like it used to be. Yeah.
And what happens if you disagree with them? You still say, okay, let's have it your way? Or is it, you know, I'm gonna be the really strict teacher who does things her own way because she knows what's best for her students? Or do you really invite them to share their original thoughts and take them into account?
Well, we do together our class, and I use their suggestion, of course, in my teaching.
Okay. Diana, do you have any suggestion as a mathematics teacher?
No, I just wanted to know how did she choose the methods? What does she think is efficient? And how did she know that that is efficient to use it in the classroom? Because Sanela talked about efficient methods, so I wanted to know the theory background and why did she choose the methods she chose?
Well, I studied the literature by systematic review and using some recent modern research, I find some effective methods and I use them with my class.
And the research is going, so you don't have the results now?
No, I don't have. I'm at the beginning now.
Okay.
So I don't know what is going to happen, but we'll see.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. And would you like to?
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Were the learners, your students who complained, were they justified in their complaints?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Sorry. When the learners complained, were they justified in their complaints? Did their complaints make good sense to you?
Well, yes. Some of them aren't.
And what could you give us some example of the disagreement with you and your methods?
You mean with my students?
Yes. When
well, I wouldn't say. I'll like I said, they are agree with everything at the beginning, and we will see in the future. I really don't have any suggestions.
You don't have any
because you said
special
before some students said what they like and what they don't like. So I think Mr.
Well, we talk about last year how was our class, and they just say they don't like the previous way of teaching, and they want some changes to do in class. So we decided to do some changes.
But maybe you should say that you don't have the same children, the same students.
Yes.
You have new students in your class, in your classroom.
Yes, that initial video was taped in the 4th grade, and now I teach 2nd and 3rd grade. So they don't know what to say. They're at the beginning, like I said. So.
Okay.
So, sorry, Branko, I must say that I agree with this question from Mr. Andy, because students are always complaining about something. So is it really justified or not? I think you should know. But I'm very pleased that there is a theoretical background and that you're knowing what you're doing.
Yes, of course.
Okay. Magdalena, would you like to encourage Sanela with your experience? or you would like to say that she should change the job?
But I don't want to change my job. I like teaching. I like the teaching.
I wouldn't say that she needs to change the job. In my situation, that was different, and to me help the training with team. So I will just say that I understand how it is difficult to work with children, and sometimes happened to me that they will say I don't want to do something, and I will not to hurt them, and then later they will say that was terrific, but at the beginning it was horrible.
Yes, they don't want to do something, and after that they are
yes.
yes.
Sanela, could you say us who is helping you in your action research project?
Well, critical friends are helping me. My friends in school, my mentor.
Could you say a few words about your critical friends?
Well, they're also primary school teacher, and they are helping me like critical friends with their suggestions and their comments on my class. And that's it.
I met your critical friend today.
Yes.
At the university. Yes, Nina. She told that she is going to help you with your
Yes,
research.
our pedagogy. Yes, Nina Erdeš-Babić is in our school, and yes, she's thrilled with our research, action research, and she decided to help me, of course.
And she is also doctoral student. And
yes, of course. She's a
and
postgraduate student in our
Yes.
university. Of course.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. If we don't have anything else, we can conclude with this session.
Thank you very much for listening to me.
Well,
Okay.
thank you very much. And I've really enjoyed my visit to Croatia. Thank you. It's been wonderful. I've been stuck in England for so long. It's lovely to get out. Thank you.
The sunny beaches.
We have to repeat Splitter or something similar.
Splendid.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Or we should be stuck in England like Andy is. I would really like to be stuck in England, but I can't.
Yes, you're very welcome. Do come over.
Bring your
Thank you.
Wellingtons and bring your Mac.
Yes.
Yeah, very
And
wet.
your umbrella. Yes.
Okay.
Thanks.
Great to see you. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.